Coming up this week on Kings of the Rings podcast, the fallout from SummerSlam has been massive, but there are still a ton of questions that need answering, like why Jimmy, why, what's going on with Ronda Rousey, will we ever see her again, and since when in the hell did Brock Lesnar become a hugger? These are all the questions we need answered, and then some and more on the 349th episode. 349, not 350 yet. We will need some 350 next week. But on 349th episode of Kings of the Rings podcast, the Tribal Hangover, exclusively on Wrestle Addict Radio. And it starts right now. I'm telling you, it's really weird when even Triple H in the press conference was like, yeah, I never expected Brock to do that at all. We didn't know what was going on. We were just going with to making sure he didn't kill anybody.
Yeah, I had a feeling because Cody legitimately looked like was just like, what's gonna happen here?
It's gonna hit me. Is it gonna hit me, ladies and gentlemen?
Cody's like, I was supposed to win, right?
Yeah. this is part of a show, right? Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kings of the Rings podcast episode number 349, the Tribal Hangover. I am your host, King Ricky Rose. Thank you guys for joining us. Please like, share, subscribe, leave some 5-star reviews. Links to all of our stuff, including some great merchandise, is in the description below. We are expecting our tribal non-binary K Murphy to be showing up, although we believe K Murphy is K Murphy, also known as Kayfabe, might be engaging in some tribal combat at the moment, but hopefully K Murphy will be joining us a little bit later. But someone who is always with me, not necessarily engaging in tribal combat, but might be afraid of a foldable chair these days. Will Tarashak, how are you?
I'm gonna get disqualified by using stairs. So I saw something on Facebook about why I didn't get disqualified, which I actually have a response to. So I'm sure we're gonna get into it. Yeah, if I tried it in a small town and got hit with a folding chair.
That's a layered joke.
Okay, I was gonna say I've been hit with a car, but not a folding chair. Goddamn, I broke my shoulders. No tribal combat for me. No. I never told you the story.
No.
So I wasn't like what car was going fast. So it was the night before junior prom.
Okay.
So let me start there. Yeah. Me and my friends were all hanging out, and they were like leaving, and like I was just being a dick, put my foot on the hood of his car.
Okay.
And he was like inching forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I was bouncing back, and eventually he was going too fast, and I lost my balance, and I got like on the hood of his car, and he went even faster, and then I lost my balance, I hit my shoulder on the windshield, went over the car, and fell flat in the pavement.
Nice. So what'd you say, like 20, 30?
No. But it hurt.
I bet.
It hurt. I deserved it. Nothing broke, luckily.
No, this is why you're not a stuntman.
No, absolutely not. That's why I didn't break my shoulder there. But yeah, good to be back.
I have a hit by a car story, but it's not about me. It's about one of my friends from college, and I think it's the funniest thing in the world. But that is another story, maybe for the post show, for another time. But folks, we are going to talk about the biggest party of the summer, which was SummerSlam. A fantastic SummerSlam for all intents and purposes, which we are going to break down pretty much match by match, because every match, outside of maybe one or two, is really worth talking about. There's a lot of stuff that happened, and I think it lived up to both of our predictions for the most part, Will.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I asked Jazz how many crowns, and I don't remember her answer, but I was like, yeah, mine was pretty spot on. I think I gave it an 8. No, I think
you said 8.5.
9?
You might have went 9.
8.5?
I want to say 9.
I think I might have said 8. I might have said 9 on the way in. Mm-hmm. And I give it a very strong 8.5 on the way out.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a very, very strong show. We're going to get into all of that stuff, but first we got to do some little bit of news and notes that have happened ever since SummerSlam, before SummerSlam, and things that happened when SummerSlam went off the air. First and foremost, right before SummerSlam went on the air that day, it was revealed that the stalwart himself, Mr. Michael Cole, is going to be the frontman, the main announcer for both Raw and SmackDown, and the announcers are going to be switching. So Michael Cole and Wade Barrett, formerly on SmackDown, are now on Raw. Huge difference, let me tell you, listening to them instead of Kevin Patrick.
Kevin Patrick sucks. He's the reason I stopped watching Raw. It really is. Like I make no effort to watch Raw because Kevin Patrick, he just sucks. Like he's always out of breath. Corey Graves. Like it's really weird. I just don't like him.
Yeah, and to counteract that as well, so now Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves are moving to SmackDown. However, Michael Cole is also going to be there. So you're going to get all Michael Cole all the time, which will probably help Kevin Patrick out a crap ton. And Corey Graves can do whatever Corey Graves is because he brings it, especially during PLEs. He's freaking fantastic.
Him and Cole are amazing. He's like, Cole's like, you just make stuff up. He goes, sometimes.
I do miss. I feel like they're gonna make Kevin Patrick on SmackDown the Byron, and he's gonna be the straight man.
Dude, he's like goofier than Byron. Because Byron played up the goofiness. Kevin Patrick's gonna get upset when he's the goofy guy.
Yeah, I've listened to Byron when he was on the New Day podcast. He actually is like a really like nice and very intelligent guy. He just plays an idiot.
Yeah, me and Byron would get along for sure.
Yeah, he's very into his health consciousness and stuff. He's very like big into eating clean and stuff like that. That's what somebody really talked about. But
he's a big boy, dude. He's huge.
He used to be a wrestler before they were like, you need to be an announcer.
Yeah.
So apparently the news about the switch up came from the request of Endeavor, the company that got that bought WWE, Endeavor and UFC. So the bigwigs of Endeavor, I don't even know if that's even gone through yet, but the bigwigs of Endeavor pretty much said they request that Michael Cole be the face of the announced team, of both announced teams. So this is why the change is happening. And honest with you, smart move. Might as well.
That's a lot of traveling for him, though, man. He's been in this business
Mondays
a long
and
time.
Fridays, though.
True. That's true.
It's like you bookend your week. And the cool thing about Michael Cole is that Michael Cole is consistent. It has been reported that in his 25 plus years of being an announcer, he's only missed 2 shows, which is absurd.
That is pretty fucking nuts. Dude, I love Michael Cole. Like, when I first started watching wrestling, Michael Cole was an announcer on SmackDown with JBL.
With the frosted tips, right?
With the I think no, that maybe.
I know frosted tips. Cole was when he was a backstage announcer.
Yeah, backstage in the 90s.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s. But yeah, Michael Cole was always my guy. Like, the coal mine, I think, is when he jumped the shark.
Coal mine.
It was just really annoying. Like, him being a heel, because I liked him when he was just a straight man. Wasn't a babyface, wasn't a heel. He was just an announcer.
Yeah.
And, like, I didn't want to be John Cena growing up. I wanted to be Michael Cole. Right? Like, I wanted that job. And I still want that job. But, yeah, Michael Cole is the best. He's the greatest.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
He's still not JR, but he's
not JR.
Very close.
Very close. And listen, you can always shit on Cole whenever you want, but like one of the great things about Michael Cole is that without Michael Cole, we would have seen Jerry Lawler die on Raw. Like without Michael Cole's fast thinking, which I am it's unreal how quickly on his feet he was able to like switch and get help for him.
On live TV. He had the wherewithal to mute his mic.
Yeah, he muted his mic, called for help, unmuted the mic, kept calling the match, muted the mic again, called for help. Like wild. Absolute wild. So props to Michael Cole. His role is going to be a little bit expanded, although he does a lot backstage anyways, because he loves his business, and props to him. So.
Yeah, I think he's a producer as well. He's very involved backstage. He's involved with NXT as well.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. He's seen it all. Might as well give him something to do.
Future manager of Izzy, for sure.
Izzy's having her first match, or had her first match this weekend.
I know, I saw her mom posted like her ring gear and like her new name.
Izzy Moreno.
Izzy Moreno. Good for her. Shout out to Izzy.
White passing Latina. Congratulations, Izzy. And speaking of women's wrestling as well, unfortunately, Dana Brooke. Not Dana Brooke, sorry. I'm thinking of Dana Brooke because I was watching NXT last night. But no, Sonya Deville unfortunately tore her ACL on SmackDown this past week and is out indefinitely. The time frame is apparently like 6 to 9 months. This was first broken by TMZ, but Sonya Deville, actually Daddy Deville, did a video, posted a video confirming her injury, which is very disheartening because Sonya Deville has had a rough couple years. She had the stalker situation, which took her out of action for a very, very long time. She was like the most hated manager, pretty much trying to take out Naomi as best as she could for a long time. And she was doing well as an authority figure for a good time, kind of being, the thorn in Adam Pearce's backside. They finally got Sonya back into wrestling, and she essentially was the substitute for Carmella, who got pregnant with Chelsea Green, and they kind of had a thing going for a little bit. They just won the tag titles, which was Sonya Deville's first championship in WWE, and she's been in WWE for a very long time at this point, clone on like 7-8 years, something like that. And now she has torn her ACL, which is a shame. Who knows what they're going to do with the women's tag titles? This just further proves my theory that the tag titles are cursed, and we need to get rid of them.
Throw them out.
Yeah.
Throw them out. Give them a Alundra Blaze and have her throw them out.
Could you imagine that's what they do? It's like they just give it to Alundra, and like the same trash can too, just like magically disappears.
Yeah. I forget what her name was in WCW.
Medusa.
It was something Medusa.
Yeah,
That's
Medusa.
right. It was something stupid. But
No, well, she used the Medusa name, and she became one of the best monster truck drivers of all time.
that she did.
Yeah, she was a badass.
That she did. She is a badass.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So yeah, give them to her.
Yeah.
Have her run them over with the monster.
Yeah, no,
truck
it's
rules.
sad because Chelsea and Sonya, I think, were going somewhere, and this is kind of just a setback. But hopefully, Sonya gets back really, really soon. I mean, torn ACLs aren't the death nail like they used to be, like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's like the Tommy John surgery.
Pretty much, yeah.
Doesn't end your career anymore.
Yeah, which is unfortunate for which I should have put this on here. The news came out. I don't have a little graphic for this, but the news came out that the doctors have recommended that Big E never wrestle again.
I did see that too, which means he'll be back in about 6 weeks. That's what that means to me.
Yeah, I don't know with Big E in particular because I don't know if he would want to go back in. I know it was rumored that they offered him even to be like an announcer, which would be great. I would love to have Big E as an announcer. I think it'd be absolutely hysterical.
You should take Mike Rome's job.
Hmm?
You should take Mike Rome's job.
just be
the ring announcer.
Oh man, that would be great. But hopefully, Big E still has a desire to get back in the ring, and hopefully, first and foremost, he needs to be healthy because I still can see that injury. Like when he landed on his head in SmackDown, like that was devastating.
Yeah, dude, I don't know if I'd want to go back in the ring after that. Like,
Yeah.
dude, like how do you just get over that?
Because like everything, like when you take a bump, just like a general practice bump, you're still falling on that neck area.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a lot.
I mean, Austin did it.
Yeah, that's
Austin
true.
did it. I mean, does Big E have anything left to prove? Like, why come back for what?
One of the greatest factions of all time. Won the Money in the Bank, cashed it in, won the WWE Championship, had a pretty decent run.
Nah, his run kind of sucks.
No,
That's not his fault.
I mean, he was up against Roman, but like even his match in Roman at Survivor Series, he did a pretty decent job.
I forgot that match happened.
Yeah, he was on his way to doing. He was on his way to doing something with his solo career because remember they had split them on purpose, and then this happened.
Yeah, I remember. The problem with Big E, the big debate, the topic of the debate was, he need to change his character, and they didn't. They should have.
He tweaked it. It's not necessarily a change. I think his character is fine. He just needed to be more serious, which I thought, especially in like when he had a street match with Sheamus, he did a really good job of showing his more serious side.
That was fucking awesome. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, tweaks for sure. But the Big E character, as we know and love, was getting stale.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't adapt. It was like Bianca. Bianca also needs a character tweak, but even though her in-ring is just pretty much fucking phenomenal in her especially her selling, which we're gonna get into. But this, like, you need to constantly evolve in character tweaks, and that was Big E's problem. He was fighting the evolution.
Yeah, which is I thought he was on his way to a streak, but who knows? Well, we may never know, which is a shame. It's gonna be one of those. It's going to be one of those big debates, and maybe he can turn it around.
Do you want to see him back? I know you do, but do you want to see him back?
If he is able to do it safely, yeah. Like, this also
I
could
don't.
be a Jason Jordan situation, too, where it's just like, you're better
Yeah.
off just not doing this ever again.
What was his injury? He was like nerve damage or
I don't
something.
remember what Jason Jordan was, but Jason Jordan's become a pretty freaking awesome producer for Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, yeah, he's a producer. He's on TV every now and then.
Yeah.
He shows up like to fight off.
Yeah.
Like Brock, he tried to hold back Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it shows that WWE wants him around in some capacity. They've done it a bunch of times. When Corey Graves was unable to wrestle anymore, they're like, "Hey, would you want to try being an announcer?"
Yeah. They don't just throw it away.
Yeah. So who knows what happens? Best of luck to Sonya and to Biggie, of course, as well. We also have, and I was gonna throw this to Kay because I know Shotzi is kind of their one of their daddies. But what are your thoughts, Will, on the short haired Shotzi? Me myself, I'm a fan.
This is the first I'm seeing of this. I don't know. I have no comment for once. I got nothing. Just that's okay. Let's see what she can do with it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we all know the hair cutting was for a reason. Like, we've talked about that, right?
No, what happened to her? Did she have a stalker?
No,
too?
she did not have a stalker. No. So her sister is going through chemo.
Oh, okay.
So she wanted to cut her hair to show support for her sister. And
that's cool.
So they turned it in the storyline. They started with obviously Bayley cutting up a piece of her hair, and that was the excuse for her to chop off her whole hair.
Yeah.
So.
All right, cool. Yeah, good for her then.
Yeah, listen, it's giving her TV time. She's going up against Bayley. Bayley has a kind of a proven track record of helping get people to the next step. So, we will see what happens. But speaking of character tweaks, oh boy, I am so excited. We have potentially heel Street Profits and Dawkins in a suit, by the way. They went on SmackDown and beat the living crap out of the tag team divisions, mostly the OC, in suits, and then Bobby came out like a proud father. So we're going to play the game here, and Fretz has already inserted something into the game, but
Smoke Business would be pretty
yeah, it's like, what would you name this new fact? We got Smoke Business. I like to use Almighty Profits. What do you got?
Yeah, Smoke Business might be a little too iffy for the censors. the Almighty Profits, I think, would work too.
Yeah, that goes.
Might as well call it the Hurt Business, dude. Why not?
Yeah, Hurt Business 2.5.
I guess
something like that.
Just not Cedric and Shelton.
I wonder if Bianca might go with them.
Ooh.
Because
that'd be cool.
We've seen Bianca kind of tweak a little bit of it. She did literally on the hot mic called Charlotte a bitch in the middle of the match, which I thought was fantastic.
And she yelled "fuck" when she hit the stairs.
Did she really? I did not hear that.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh fuck." Well, Charlotte has a sailor's mouth in the ring too.
Yeah. I've known that for a while. But back to the Smoke Business or the Almighty Profits. Like I love everything about this. I mean, we were talking about the Street Profits could have probably coasted in their career as just a hype babyface tag team, but I like that they're taking this challenge on.
Yeah, dude, they needed a heel run. We've been calling for this for months.
A lot of people wanted the
Montez,
heel Profits.
Yeah. And then Montez is just gonna go to the fucking moon because he needs a singles push like yesterday.
Yeah, and the great thing about it is that Bobby's a great person to learn from. Bobby's not at all.
I think Bobby's going to teach more to Montez than not Montez,
Dawkins.
than Montez because Bobby Lashley's like, I can't fly like you can. Like, what can I? You can teach me a thing or two, right? I mean, like, unless he can be like, listen, when you're on Bobby Lashley probably shouldn't be teaching promos either. his promos have been fine recently, but not best for his promo skills because Montez kind of has that I'm going to yell and scream kind of promo. He has that MJF syndrome.
Kind of, but he's a lot funnier than MJF, I think.
Oh yeah, sure.
He's
way more. Charisma.
I'm very excited to see where this goes because it also was a couple weeks ago where you saw Bobby talking to Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams as well too.
Yes, we did. This all the black people.
This could be the beginnings of a super faction, which I'm all for. I am all for, because the talent's there, and it's a lot more talented, unfortunately, than Cedric and Shelton. Because Shelton's past his prime, and Shelton's coasting. Let me tell you that right now.
I don't know. The Profiteers would be good. Or Profit Motives.
Profit motives sounds more like a business vocabulary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like Almighty Profits. He might just call. We might end up getting like Hurt Business versus Hurt Business now, but Omos is back with MVP, which is a very random thing in the Battle Royal. But moving on.
It was a good swerve, though.
It was a good.
I was like, this fucker's gonna win, isn't he?
Listen, he finally got back from his honeymoon or whatever he was out for, because I know he got married.
He did.
Yeah, he got married. His wife's pretty cute.
I bet his wife. I bet his wife's tiny.
No. I mean, everybody's tiny compared to him.
I know, but he's Shaq's wife. She's like this little Asian woman.
Yeah. So let's talk.
Let me Google. Let me Google this.
Google
bro.
Omos. Google Omos's significant other. Did you know?
All right, continue.
You know Solo's married too, right?
I did not know
All the
that.
Usos are married. Well, we all know Roman's married. Roman has like 9
Oh, she's cute.
Yeah, see, told you. I don't know how tall she is.
No, she's regular size. She's like she's probably a pretty tall for a woman. She's like her top of her head's like up to his lower shoulder.
Yeah, so she's pretty tall for a woman.
Yeah, she's probably like, yeah, she's tall. She'll probably play basketball.
Yeah. So, but let's get into SummerSlam Detroit. Based on the presser that they released the next day, and also from Triple H's press conference comments, here's a little facts about SummerSlam just in general. So according to their press release, which I'm going to read over here on my other computer, SummerSlam emanating from Ford Field in Detroit became the most watched and highest grossing SummerSlam in company history. It set records for viewership, gate, sponsorship, and merchandise, with a estimated, I'm going to say estimated, 59,194. SummerSlam generated a record gate, that is ticket sales, folks, of 8.5 million, the largest gate for any non-WrestleMania event ever. It was the most watched SummerSlam in company history, take that, Collision, and among the top 3 audiences in the history of WWE on Peacock. That's absurd. SummerSlam generated the most sponsorship revenue for any non-WrestleMania event ever, with $7 million in sponsorship revenue, up 23% versus 2022. The sponsors included Slim Jim, C4, Rocket Mortgage. So if you do a little quick math, from ticket sales and sponsorship, $15.5 million. That's it. We're not including merchandise or anything else. Just
it's a lot of money. How about concessions?
Exactly. I feel like concessions get split with the stadium, though.
Yeah, for sure. Probably most of it probably goes to the stadium.
They said in partnership with the special event retail partner Fanatics, which is where you get all of our merchandise from now these days, merchandise sales were up 60% versus the record set in 2021, making the best performance in company history for any premium live event outside of WrestleMania. On-location packages, which are like the priority packages and stuff like that, set a new SummerSlam record, up 47% versus 2022. In addition, SummerSlam became the most viewed social SummerSlam of all time, with over 230 million views and 4 million hours of video consumed, a 26% increase over last year.
The business is hot, man.
Yeah.
Business is booming.
Those are absurd numbers, especially from a social media perspective.
Numbers. Yeah. Yeah, especially from a social media perspective.
Like, that's unreal numbers. So props to them. We also had a 1-hour SummerSlam press conference afterwards, which they're getting really good at these press conferences. It was really funny. Cody came on first, and he took sips of both of the C4 drinks. And he was like, "Hey, Taquan, better late than never, Taquan." And he made himself choose. But what I wanted to point out is some comments that Triple H made. So Triple H was pretty much directly addressed about how did they decide who got on the show, and who didn't get on the show, and booking and placement. And there's a couple of comments I think we're going to harp on a little bit. Triple H said, first and foremost, we never announced the card. So how would you know who got cut and who didn't get cut? Because we didn't announce the card.
That's interesting.
Which is something
that's a little fuck you, Triple H. I'm gonna say fuck you real quick because you know what he means by asking that question. Or whoever asked that question, you know what that person means by asking that question. How do you decide who gets on and off the card, not who got cut? Don't fucking play these word games with me, Paul.
Yeah, I don't remember the direct question, but he did mention, like, we never really announced the card, so you can't tell us who got cut and who didn't, which is true, and that's something that I started to think about a little bit after he said it. I was like, you know what? WWE actually never announces their full card, ever. It's a wrestling trick.
No, they usually do.
But they never tell you the order.
No, they never tell you the order.
So put this way.
They don't drop the physical card.
Correct.
Like it's like a boxing
or
event,
UFC.
Right?
UFC will drop the card.
Or UFC drops the card.
Exactly.
They never drop the card, but they announce the matches. But that's part of the fun. You don't know what matches are. I like not knowing the match order.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. I think it's very
other
good.
than the main event.
Exactly.
Obviously.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you.
You're like, oh, really? Cody Brock's on second? Wow. Why? Oh, Logan Paul.
Yeah, I've made a ton of those comments in my time doing the live. I was like, how is this second? Or how is this next? I remember one thing was when Charlotte and Asuka came on to WrestleMania. Number 2.
They were like third.
They were second. I was like,
second,
how?
After the IC match. Yeah.
I was like, how are you doing this?
Didn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. So he talks about that, but he also talks about something to the behest of Becky Lynch, especially moving on to Raw. He made the poignant comment of, when you have so much talent that you can easily book 2 nights of WrestleMania, when you go back to a one night show, not everybody's gonna make it.
Duh.
Like,
this shouldn't be controversial. It's just like, listen, guys.
Yeah.
This get out of this playground attitude of everyone needs to participate, everyone needs to win. No. This is a business. This is a sport.
And a meritocracy.
There's winners and losers, right? Yeah. It's just like now, if I'm a fan, do I, in hindsight, go, yeah, I wish Becky and Trish were on the card instead of Ronda and
Shayna
Baszler? Yeah. Yes, I do. But Rousey is still in their eyes a massive star, and it's to get honest people. It's to get casual people on the card. Like, I understand why they did what they did, so I'm not going to shit on them for making that decision. And plus, you got another pay-per-view coming up in a month without Roman. You need a big-time match to sell that card.
Exactly.
Or TV. Right? The TV is a hot product. Mm-hmm. So you shouldn't be like, why are people getting cut off the card? You should be like, wow, I am so glad wrestling is so hot right now. I want to see everything.
Yeah, and that is exactly what Triple H alluded to. He goes, listen, we just finished the SummerSlam, and it ran really long in the first place, number one. But he goes, we got to do another shit. We got to do another premium live event in less than 4 weeks. We also have, if you had NXT, we have 7 hours of television every week.
Yeah.
And he also, another thing that he also revealed is, like, he essentially said he overbooks on purpose. He creates multiple feuds that he knows everything's not going to make it in some way, shape, or form on a PLE or on TV, but you overbook these feuds and you see what sticks and you place them appropriately, which is smart.
And you gauge the audience. Exactly. And it's effective because the fact that the fans are upset about this is actually a good thing.
Correct.
Because it means they're invested, and it means they care.
They want to see it.
But would you rather have would you rather SummerSlam been 2 nights, which go fuck yourself, first
Hell
of all.
No.
And second of all, would you rather been 6 hours, go fuck yourself, second of all. Or 3, would you rather have be like a 12-match card and, Brock and Cody gets cut for like 6 minutes, Logan and Ricochet gets cut 5 minutes, Roman gets cut 3 minutes, and like Shayna and Ronda is just a squash match. No,
it does nothing.
You don't devalue a hot angle to get on, just to make sure everyone's on the card. Like, stop with this there's winners and there's losers.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying Becky and Trish is a loser. I'm saying they're gonna get their spotlight somewhere else. Look at Damian Priest. He was off WrestleMania. I was very upset about it. Look what they did. Look what they did after that.
Yeah.
He had a match with Bad Bunny. He won Money in the Bank, and he gave Finn Balor a deadly stare down.
a memeable stare down.
A memeable stare down. So, like, just have some patience.
Seriously.
Just have some
it's
patience.
all about patience.
Like, everyone is going to be used, but they're not going to be used how you want them to be used. But that's fine. That's fine. And would I have even preferred Shayna and, not Shayna, Becky and Trish instead of the Battle Royal? Yeah. Yeah, I would. I would have actually, because a battle royal for no reason is just stupid.
That was Slim Jim throwing money at them.
That's
what
and as
it
fun
was.
As fun as the match was, right? The match was fine. It was fun. It's in the middle of the card.
Yeah.
You know, come down match. Even though LA Knight fucking the biggest pop of the night. First of all.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's just like why are you asking him this question?
Yeah. Yeah, he was pretty candid. It's the most candid I've ever seen Triple H in answering a question. So, but I thought it was good for him to respond in such an aggressive manner.
Yeah,
because like it was also like someone, Bill Apter, who's a pretty an elderly reporter. He's like a Dave Meltzer type. Put it that way. Bill Apter also had this. This question, I talked to you about this the other day, where he was like, so what was Austin Theory doing in the Battle Royal? What was the United States Champion doing in the Battle Royal? And Triple H's response was like, oh, well, you know, he was in the Battle Royal not to get thrown over the top rope and probably win the Battle Royal, but he didn't do either of them, so that's why he was in.
Yeah, like another stupid question.
Yeah.
It's like, because we want him to be on the card, so idiots like you wouldn't complain about it.
And yet they still complain.
I guess we'll do better next time.
Yeah. But I like that they're addressing, you know, some of these things more upfront. I also enjoy in their press conferences that they're allowing, you know, people like us, you know, to be a part of those press conferences. Issa's on there all the time now. She's
good for her.
You know, I've seen a lot of our peers on social media who are in the same podcast business as us. They're now getting like press passes to interview superstars like the day before big events, which is absolutely nuts, and it gives me hope, that we'll just get press passes to something major randomly. Yeah,
we need an audience, though, for that, Ricky. Come on now.
Not necessarily. I saw some people in that press conference that I was like, there's no way they have an audience bigger than me. So we'll see. Like I said, it gives me hope. It gives me hope. But let's move.
I don't know, man. I talk too much shit.
It would be funny if they, like, called you out. They're like, hey, I know that voice. Did you say that thing about me the other week? You could be like, no, not at all.
I'm like, yeah, I did. What are you going to do about it? Is it true or is it not true? It's true.
Oh, man. Well, let's move on from the press releases and everything like that to the Tribal Combat match, the main event, the true main event of SummerSlam. We're not Jimmy, but James Uso, because we're not calling him Jimmy anymore. That was a James Uso move. Sabotaged the match for his brother Jay, and LOL, Roman wins in another chapter in this story of the bloodline, which in my opinion I think was the most logical way to go. They had kind of ridden themselves into a hole, and I think it was the only logical step. But I love it because the evidence that they were going to go this way is littered throughout the entire story, and I think that's the brilliance of it, Mr. Tarashak.
I agree. That Twitter thread you posted the other day was just really brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? It was really, really smart. Jimmy's telling the story of, I was supposed to be the right-hand man. I was hurt. And if you think about it, who's the bigger, like, who is, if you got to rank the star power of the bloodline? Roman's up top.
Of course.
Obviously. Then you got Jay.
Yeah.
Then you got Paul Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Solo.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh yeah, Jimmy's here too.
And that's mostly because Jimmy was injured throughout a lot of the storyline.
Yeah. Like, Jimmy never really had a shining moment in the storyline. It was always just like, okay, Solo's here attacking Sammy. Like, you know, Solo's just the enforcer.
Yeah.
You know, we had the back, like Brock and Paul Heyman. We had the Jay and Sammy, right? And Jay and Kevin, excuse me. Jimmy never really had any part. He was always a supporting character.
Correct.
Always. He was never in a spotlight. So now he is going to be like, hey, man, fuck you for taking my spot.
Yeah.
Now, I think these two need to be completely separate from Roman. They cannot be cutting promos with Roman. They can mention Roman, talk about Roman, but like Roman should not be involved in this feud. Then I would think they're jumping the shark.
Yeah, I don't think they're jumping the shark at all. I think this is the next logical step in the story that they were going to tell, especially because it is rumored that Roman's going to take some time off. And rightfully
Don't
so.
need him.
You don't need him for Payback or Fastlane. There's so much talent that Roman's not needed. And guess what? You have another world title. It's also the brilliance of having two different titles.
Yeah, you want Austin Theory in the card against LA Knight. Like, Roman can go away for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you're upset about his long title reigns. Hey, you think Bruno defended the belt every month? No, he defended like once or twice a year. Right?
Yeah.
It's like these long title reigns, the longer it goes, it makes sense he defends it less and less. It doesn't bother me, honestly.
Doesn't bother me at all. I think this is the storyline leading into the next major PLE, which will be Survivor Series, which is going to be in 2-3 months. Jimmy and Jay can feud for a while, and like you said, this gives Jimmy the chance to this is Jimmy's time in the story. Put it that way.
Exactly.
Plain and simple. This is Jimmy's time in the story.
And it's going to be fucking awesome. The promos going to be, Oos! Oos! Oh, come on, Oos! What are you doing, Oos?
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and Roman called it from about a couple of weeks ago when he was gaslighting Jay, like he always does. Because the only reason you became the main event in the right hand was because Jimmy was injured.
And Jimmy said it. He was like, he didn't believe in you, this, that, and the other. And he's like, is it true? And he was like, yeah, it's true. And Jay was just like, I don't care. I'm still with you. Which is just the ultimate betrayal.
Yep. And that kind of stings. So,
yeah, dude, I'm about it.
I love it.
I'm all about it. Because like the whole match, I was like, where's Jimmy? Like, Jay, Solo's attacking him. Like, but where's Jimmy? He's coming eventually. And it's like, oh, there he is. Didn't see that coming. Michael Cole, great call.
Why, Jimmy? Why?
But the
he's your brother or something like that. What else did he say?
Yeah, it's like you're despicable, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, someone when Michael Cole gets really like into something, he just goes off.
Yeah, and Fretz, I don't think they're doing war games. I saw it's gonna be bragging rights again for Survivor Series.
So it's gonna be All-Star Game again.
It's gonna be Roman versus Seth.
Okay, so it's All-Star Game. All-Star
Game
mentality. Okay.
But bragging rights is okay. Which brand is gonna get more wins again?
Well, they're also
right?
but there's also a thing
Theory
too.
versus whoever, and if Gunther versus Theory or whatever the fuck.
Roman versus Seth will be perfect, because I saw a clip of Roman's title reigns, like they listed them, like on a sports page, and the only one that went to a DQ finish was Seth Rollins.
Yeah, Cole was like, why? Yeah, but the first point, it's another wrinkle in the story.
Yeah.
It's like you said, Ricky. It's the next logical progression. Now, the match itself, I thought out of all the main events in the past like year with that Roman's had, this is probably the weakest in terms of the actual match. Like it was fine.
Yeah.
Like the false finishes were okay. Going into the crowd was pretty cool. Did you hear that one guy in a suit just like trolling Solo? He was like, "Why Solo? Why?"
Yeah.
He was just kayfabing it.
Yeah, it was like, remember the guy that I think they were in Chicago when it was Gargano and Ciampa during their feud, and he was like, "You're the devil, Ciampa."
Yeah, you're the devil, Ciampa. You gave him King of the Night that week.
Oh my god, that was great.
And Roman sold it too. Roman's like, "What the fuck just happened?" Which made me think that they're going away from Roman. Which I beg you, please do not insert Roman and Paul Heyman and Solo into the storyline.
Maybe Solo because it's the brother, but like Paul and Roman don't need to be anywhere near this.
Yeah. Totally.
At all. They can can essentially cower away and lie in wait till the next logical thing, which makes Seth the biggest guy in the brand while Roman's gone, which is exactly what Seth wants.
Yeah, which is why they made a new title.
Exactly. Let's move on to one of the other main events, the first of the main events, and I like that WWE's changing the narrative of what a main event match is, because its main event means marquee match.
Yeah.
Which means
it's called that then.
Yeah.
call it that then, because the main event is the main event. It's the biggest one. It's the number one. It's the show stick. It's the show. It's what you come to see. You can only be one. You can only have one main.
I disagree. I think you can have a bunch of things that would be considered a main event. So I see main event as marquee, as they're using it interchangeably, and I'm okay with it.
Marquee match, I think, is much more appropriate. You know, it's or a headliner. It's one of the headliners.
I can agree if you did this is a
headlining
match.
Yeah, it's semantics.
We're
arguing semantics.
Because honestly, this could have gone on last, and no one would have cared because this match was absolutely fantastic. I've never seen Brock Lesnar do so much storytelling in a match.
Yeah, he was this This is what we all thought the John Cena match was going to be.
But John Cena just kept getting his ass beat.
Yeah, it was great. No, the match was really good. Now, I'm glad this didn't get cut for time, so Becky and Trish could have fought for 8 minutes.
Yeah, right? No, this match was...
this storytelling needed to happen. Brock ripped his pants. I don't know when or how he did it, but his pants ripped.
I remember when I was like, his pants totally got shattered. His shorts got
really
ripped.
Funny.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
I was like, damn, Brock, your inner thigh is really pale. Nice undies.
Yeah.
I was like, what if Brock just decided to go commando that day?
Could you imagine? Issa would have had a heart attack.
I know. Also, Jazz just go, why is he so sweaty? I'm like, that's just
Brock. Like,
he's just sweaty. He's a sweaty gorilla.
Guy. He's a sweaty guy. What a match. Cody's still getting his ass beat really well because Cody's a good seller, getting his ass beat.
Yeah.
Brock tried to destroy this man. Cody kept getting up. Cody eventually beats him again.
I want to fuck Brock, monster cock. Fire me. God damn you, Taquan.
So the biggest thing here, especially Cody winning, is how animated Brock was after the match, which according to Triple H, according to Cody Rhodes, none of that was scripted.
I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I totally believe it because Cody was like, "What is going on here?"
Yeah,
and Brock never does that.
I've never seen him do it ever. He gave him a hug. They butted heads. I guess that's the Beast way of saying you're cool. He
stare down, and then the headbutt of like, okay, I respect you.
Yeah.
Shook the hand, hug, hand raise, and like
he gave him the four corners hand raise too.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap, he never did that. Well, he wasn't supposed to do that to Taker. He never did that for Roman. He never did it for Angle. Like, this is the first I've ever seen it. And then Cody said in the presser, like, because obviously Brock left before him, and he was, if you saw the wide shot, Brock was having fun as he was leaving the ground. Like, he stole a fan's hat.
He stole his hat too. He stole a hat and then tossed it back.
Yeah. And all of us.
Did he hug me at the end of the 19?
I don't remember that. I think there was the hug because
I don't think he remembers that either.
Yeah, that's also very true. But Cody said he went to go find Brock backstage, and Brock was nowhere to be found. So it was kind of just one of those just very interesting moments. And
I went straight to his jet and was like, Sable! Stitch my pants!
Yeah, so it was crazy to see. And Cody's quick little promo on Monday where he said he was talking to his mom about it, and he still couldn't wrap his hand around it. And apparently, according to Cody's promo, his mom told him, "You don't get it. Brock Lesnar just acknowledged you."
It is. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But we still have no reason for why he was attacking or turned in the first place. Like, there really was no story. You know what's in the promo package? Which, first off, great promo package with the song and everything.
The song, yeah. You got what I said about like last week? How it was very like somber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really good though.
No, it was.
But like, there was no story to it. It was just Cody cutting a promo and Brock beating him up.
Yeah.
So I think the moment would have meant more if there actually was a story behind it, like Brock cut promos and gave a reason to why or whatever, something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Cody, after Cody won, though, I was like, he better be the one to take it off Roman. I kind of want Cody more than Rock now.
At this point, Cody has to be. No one's ever got that much. No one's ever got that much emotion out of Brock Lesnar post match.
Yeah,
ever.
And the crowd just ate it up.
Would you too? I didn't know what I was seeing. I was like, what is going on? It's like when the Grinch grew a heart, or like his heart grew 3 times. It was like, wow, Brock's nice. He hugs people. He's okay with this. Okay.
And it was a good match.
It was good.
It was a good match.
Good.
It probably should have went. Actually, no, I'm not saying it should have went first, but because that opening match was phenomenal.
We'll get to the opening match at the end of it. It's because there's so much other stuff to talk about, especially. A lot of SummerSlam was just about storytelling, and Seth Rollins and Finn Balor told a story 7 years in the making, and it started with that asshole Seth coming out with the top of his ring gear from that SummerSlam.
Yeah, he couldn't zip up the vest. He was too fat.
Because he got bigger. He was skinnier back then.
Bigger. Yeah, he was a lot more. I don't know. Like, Seth Rollins isn't out of shape, but back then he was much more in shape.
He was just skinnier, and so I think he's just built up more.
He's built up. Yeah.
But
funny.
Lord,
yeah. I was like, wow, that vest don't fit well, Seth. A little tight.
Yeah. I loved everything about that. When he took off a thing and he revealed the jacket, Seth is one of the masterminds of playing mind games with his opponents.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm surprised he still had it, to be honest with you. Because usually wrestlers will like sell it or auction it off or something. But he found it's probably because he probably sold the pants and kept the top. Is probably what happened. Because like, why is he so mismatched? Finn having the 7 on the separated shoulder.
When Michael Cole called it a tattoo, I was like, I hope that's not real. And then it smudged, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. I mean, everything was good. Finn and Seth literally did a frame-by-frame recreation of a separated shoulder spot.
Yeah, except Finn through Seth.
Yeah. I was
was good.
Wow.
That was good.
Fantastic. I thought for a second that Finn Balor was going to take this off of him. When Judgment Day showed up and Priest hit him and Finn hit the pedigree, I was like, it's happening. And then Seth kicked out.
The miscommunication between Finn and Damian was just weird. I liked the finish. Yeah. Because, like, he was like, use it. And Finn's like, get out of there.
I don't know.
And then Finn was like, give it to me. And Damien's just like, here. Because it was just weird.
Yeah.
But it was fine. It's just, Finn loses again.
That's the one thing I was upset about. I was like, I thought we had a moment to really make Judgment Day, like, essentially the faction to like be on the lookout for, because they've been having such a rise. But
that's what they do, man. They build them up, they lose.
Yeah.
Or I should say, they build them up, Finn loses.
Yeah. I mean, it's the debate we had before. Do you go with the short thing and Seth Rollins, or do you give Finn a run during what's historically your lowest part of the year? And they went with the short thing.
I think it was the right call. Because, like, I know I made predictions on the show last week, but before the match, I was telling Jazz, like, Seth's gonna win, Logan's gonna win. I went 7 for 8. I didn't get Bianca. It's one thing I didn't get.
No one saw that coming.
Nope, didn't see that one coming.
No one saw that coming at all. I mean, and
now Seth Nakamura. Okay,
I love it.
I guess
I'm definitely okay with it. Finn is now obviously fighting with Damian, but now JD McDonough's in the mix now, so that's a new wrinkle in the Judgment Day storyline. Finn's going back to the guy that he's training, JD, for some assistance and guidance. So again, that's another wrinkle in the storyline, while Seth is out here fighting Nakamura, which I hope they bring back his heel Nakamura theme, the one that people hate.
Yeah, please. No.
It's exactly why. I need to see people bitch and complain about that. I do.
Oh my God, with like the Japanese metal voice.
Yes.
Oh God,
yes,
please. No, that was so
bad.
It was so
it. And bring back
bad.
a dancing Sami Zayn too. Remember when it was knocking Sami?
Oh my God, stop that right now.
With Sami's injured bionic elbow. The tag team titles are not doing great these days.
Well, Kevin Owens has a rib injury.
And did you see Sami's elbow on Monday?
No.
Oh, go look up Sami Zayn's injury. It's not pretty. It is not pretty at all. But this match pretty much had everything. You had Judgment Day kind of being Judgment Day-ish. Sorry, no speak English. Yeah, because he speaks like 5 different languages, frets. But listen, Seth Rollins might be the best stretcher. Did you see... Oh, it is a burst attack elbow. Yeah. That Berserk elbow was really bad, Freds.
Ow.
Yeah.
It sounds painful.
It's just Berserk means it's really, really extremely swollen. It's kind of gross. It's what you hope the bionic elbow actually would be in real life. But the following Monday on Raw, obviously Seth and not going to be a thing. Did you see Seth's outfit from Raw?
No, I didn't watch.
Okay,
Raw.
so
Kevin Patrick.
Okay. So
oh, it's the same thing Cena had in SummerSlam 2013.
yeah,
that was disgusting.
yeah, pretty much. That is the same thing. So Seth's fit, it was like a bright blue suit, but he also had. You remember the giant red boots he wore in Brooklyn?
No.
All right, so he wore these really. So what he wore, in Minnesota, because that's where they were. What he wore in Minnesota, he wore essentially these highlighter yellow Crocs, but they were boots.
Interesting.
It's the weirdest thing ever, but that's Seth being Seth, and that is our World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins. Let's move on to the Women's Championship match and another nomination for Outstanding Performance by an actor in Bianca Belair. That triple threat match apparently was the longest women's match in SummerSlam history. Bianca Belair now also has the distinct accolade of the longest and shortest women's championship reign in history. All happening.
I'm glad this match didn't get cut time, so Becky and Trish could have a 5-minute match.
I will tell you this. When I saw what happened to Bianca, I became seriously concerned for her career.
Well, because we didn't see what happened.
Yeah.
Charlotte threw her over, and we heard the thud of the stairs.
There was also a crack that was heard.
Yeah, but we didn't know. Like there was definitely a camera angle of her hitting something. Like we don't know what hit the stairs.
Yeah, it was good camera work by the operators in the back.
So
but
that was the one thing that made me think it wasn't real. But Corey Graves too was like, guys, let's just keep the camera work on the competitors. And I was like, oh, you bastard, that's good. Because I thought it was.
And
real.
then they had the refs and the trainers come from the back too.
Yeah. It was really good selling.
I was really concerned. I was like, oh, we're in uncharted territory right now. Like, I don't know what's going on.
And then she hit that 360, and it was like, oh no, she's fine.
And listen, that was a wildly creative match. One of the best finishes I've ever seen to a triple threat.
Oh, the mist?
Huh?
The figure eight? I told you I was going to happen.
The mist, the figure eight, but then rolling up Asuka while still in the figure eight.
Yeah, it was great.
It was a great finish.
I laughed so hard at the mist.
Did you? It was great. That stops Asuka's reign at 70 as the women's WWE Women's Champion. Bianca Belair obviously having a short run as Women's Champion because then Iyo's music hit and she is very fast. She is very fast.
And she's like, Bailey, hit this bitch with a briefcase real quick.
While I catch my breath. I just ran 50 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jazz was pissed. She was so.
She obviously is
mad.
learning how wrestling is working.
And she also doesn't understand selling and like playing up to the crowd.
How concerned was she?
Not really concerned. She's more on TikTok than anything else. But I kept telling her she was going to lose, and then she won. I was like, "Oh shit, she won!"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh shit, she's about to lose." She hates Asuka.
Now does she hate Iyo?
I guess.
Listen.
But a lot of it's just like, what are you wasting time for? Like, don't talk to the crowd. Go beat him up. Like, she was like yelling at Ricochet through the TV.
Oh man, but no, congratulations to Iyo and congratulations to everybody in this segment because that women's match was fantastic. Great triple threat. One of the most creative triple threats I've seen. Iyo winning was at the perfect time. It's a year to the day that she got called back up. You know, all of Danzig was there. They flew in Dakota Kai the same day. I actually read, I saw a video of Dakota Kai on Twitch talking about she got called because I think she lives in Florida. She's like, Saturday's my off day. She's like, I'm injured, Saturday's off. She's like, yay, off day. She's like, she had her phone on Do Not Disturb. She took her phone off Do Not Disturb at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And her phone was like blowing up. They were like, she had missed phone calls, text messages from Bailey. They're like, they need you in Detroit now. So essentially, she had to Dakota Kai. She's like, she got a hair person. She got her hair done really quickly. She had a flight at 5, but due to like weather delays, they didn't leave. They didn't leave till like an hour into the show starting.
Wow.
Yeah. She gets to Detroit, runs through baggage claim. WWE had car service and a makeup person ready for her. And they did her makeup in the car. It took 20 minutes from the airport to the arena. She got there like the match before for Triple Threat and was like rushed out into the crowd.
Jesus.
Crazy. Which leads me to believe they made the call that day that Iyo was going to cash in.
Honestly, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
They made the call that day. Which is pretty crazy. But look, I'm happy that Iyo's coming, that Iyo's going to be a champion. It's going to bring a new wrinkle to damage control. And there's also rumors that another prominent Asian wrestler is returning to WWE. Nothing confirmed. Nothing confirmed yet.
Kyrie Sane?
Huh?
Sane?
There might be a pirate princess returning. So nothing confirmed yet, but I think it's going to be imminent. If this happened, that this might happen as early as Friday on SmackDown or sometime within the month. Because Iyo's going to need some fresh challengers, and that'd be a good person to start out with.
Yeah, and she don't got any. She's got nada to work with right now.
Yeah, so we'll see what goes up. But congrats to her, well deserved as a major champion. And
she looks great with that belt too.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. Very happy for Iyo. Jesus Christ, this match was hard hitting. The Intercontinental title fight. Gunther, Drew McIntyre. I can watch these guys fight forever.
A lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a good match.
There's nothing more to say. Like, this is exactly what you expected from two massive men who don't know when to stop hitting each other.
Yeah. I still think Drew needs a heel turn.
We still might get it. He's lost a lot. And now we also do have a new number one contender for Gunther, which is going to be Gable. So
good for
Gable
him.
won a...
He's going to get murdered.
Well, here's the thing. They were in Minnesota where Chad Gable's from. So Gable won a fatal four-way, which was apparently produced by Jason Jordan on Raw. So it was Gable, Riddle, Ciampa, and I forgot who the fourth opponent was. Ricochet. They put on a fantastic fatal four-way. Gable wins, and apparently Gable had a son in the last couple of years, like 2 or 3 years ago. He had his son dressed up in a matching singlet as him. And when he won the match, he paraded his son around the ring with him, and they were in matching singlets. It was really awesome.
That's cool.
It was really awesome. I mean, listen, Gable would be a great guy to beat Gunther. He's got the Greco-Roman background. He's believable. I mean, we saw Gable suplex Braun Strowman at WrestleMania.
We did easily see that. That happened.
Like, very easily.
He almost did it to, what's
Bronson Reed, I think, right?
Bronson Reed, yeah.
So there's a lot of believability in Gable, which is fine. He can win it, like I said, as long as Gunther beats the Honky Tonk Man's record. We're getting close. And once that happens, Gunther can drop the belt. Perfectly fine. But, listen, Gunther's doing great. Drew had a good match to come back with. Let's just keep the ball rolling, shall we? And now let's get to what a lot of people are saying, the piss break, which happened to be somewhat of the piss break, into the crowd with this MMA rules match, Ronda and Shayna. So there's a lot that occurred here and a lot that didn't occur here. There was a valiant attempt to do something outside of a fight pit because the fight pit is just too time-consuming from a construction standpoint to put anywhere besides the last match on the card. And they weren't going to do that at all. The other issue was, it was, I think like Fred said in our pre-show, it was a scripted MMA fight.
Yeah,
And
so
it's
here's the
hard,
problem.
and it's hard to do. And in my opinion, it wasn't MMA enough in particular. But Will, I want you to talk about what your issue was with it.
So yeah, the problem with this match was wrestling's fake. We all know it's fake.
Mm-hmm.
We all accept that it's fake.
Yes.
MMA is the exact opposite. So if you're gonna do an MMA fight, you gotta do a lot of strikes and kicks. Now, what's the most fakest part about wrestling?
Strikes and
The
kicks.
strikes and the kicks. So it just none of it was believable because there's nothing there to suspend your disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
Like super kicks look fake, but they sound real.
Yes.
Right? It looks great. It's part of the show of wrestling. Like you're trying to sell me this is real, knowing it's fake, using a wrestling match what looks the most fake. Like that's the biggest critique of wrestling is that it's fake by anyone who's just a normal person.
Yeah.
So if I showed someone this match, I'd be like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And as a fan, I go, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen because I want my suspension disbelieved. I want Drew
your
McIntyre
belief
hop over the top
suspended.
rope. Yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. So yeah, that's the problem with it. The problem is that you took the fakest part of wrestling and made it an entire match.
My issue was
It
that it like I said, it wasn't MMA enough, especially in presentation. Now I like what we're seeing here in the picture that I have of the ref telling them the rules, where I think there was a because he explained it perfectly, like he was really good, really good.
That's what MMA refs do. MMA refs say, like word for word.
What I think, what the issue in particular with this is, even though we did have a pretty good build-up leading into the match, even though they revealed MMA rules a little bit too late, I think, in the process, because I think something like this, which is essentially a special attraction match in terms of in terms of a style of match, but I think they needed to hype up a little bit more earlier on in the feud that they're gonna fight in MMA rules at SummerSlam, which I think would have helped bring more casual UFC fans to it. But in particular, with what they did here, outside of entrances and outside of not having like a Bruce Buffer or a Michael Buffer or somebody like that, I think they should have mic'd the ref for the crowd. I was able to hear him because the camera was right there. But I do not think anybody in that arena heard anything he said to them. And I think that was a giant misstep. He should have been mic'd, or you should have had Mike Rome throw the mic under him so everybody can hear what he's saying.
That's what Bruce Buffer does. Yeah, Bruce Buffer has his arms behind him.
So everybody can hear what they say and what's going on. Because if you just see this, it looks like he's just holding them back for some reason, and they're standing there in a fighter stance. Like, this is what happens during a UFC fight, but in
gloves up if you want to touch him.
Exactly,
yada, yada.
but a casual wrestling fan who may not watch UFC doesn't know how significant that moment is, and I think that was a big misstep. Everybody in that arena should have heard clearly what he said to them. To get that last minute buy.
I don't think it would have made a difference, though. Like, it would have been cool. It would have made it a little more authentic.
Just to get that last minute buy. I don't think anything about the match is going to change, but you need that last minute buy.
Like a cuisine. But I don't think the fans just didn't care. The fans have stopped caring about Rousey a long time ago, and we haven't cared about Shayna Baszler since NXT. So I don't think that would have made a difference in terms of reaction to the match. It would have been cool, right? There's more authenticity. Yeah. Like, it made a little more effort, but people are still gonna chant boring and boo the match.
Because
it was boring.
You can do what you want with it. Like it's a technical match, so it's not that entertaining. It's sportsy, but it's not entertaining. But my big thing with that is if you mic that, they pandered. I think they broke kind of a rule here. You need to pander to the audience that's in the arena, not the audience on TV. And I think that was the big misstep. It's particularly in this moment here. Pander to the audience that paid the ticket to be here. Not give a fuck about us. You can have Michael Cole explain to us the rules, if need be. But the audience in the arena should have heard everything that ref said before the match. That's really my only thing there. Obviously, Shayna won, and Ronda posted this the next day or a couple days after on her Instagram. She said, essentially, Baszler, you were the reason I got into this business. Now I have no reason to stay. My question to you is, Will, have we seen the last of Ronda Rousey in a professional wrestling ring?
I think for a long time, yeah.
She did just have a child within the last year, too.
She just, there's no buzz. There's nothing there. Like, I see Ronda Rousey and I go, I forgot you're on the roster.
It also shows you the strength of the roster.
No, the women's division sucks.
I wouldn't.
Like,
I would disagree. It does not suck.
Like,
this was AEW.
Ronda
Maybe
Rousey
I would say they're not too great. I mean, AEW's women's division has a lot of upper issues, but in particular, compared to WWE, WWE I think is leaps and bounds ahead of them.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of their top stars, they got 3 or 4 top stars, but that's it.
Tell me you're not into Maxine Dupree's little disaster suplex she did the other week?
I totally forgot who that was. Yeah, Rousey, just, there's nothing there. The star power's gone. She hasn't had a believable feud since Becky Lynch. Honestly, like, there's one. Charlotte even fell flat. That's Charlotte, right? Like, your biggest rival.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, even if you did Becky Rousey right now, I still don't think people would care. It's just, I don't think there's anything you can do to save it. And part of it's her fault, part of it's not her fault. It's just, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah, and I think
is this last we see of her? Fuck, dude, I hope so.
I didn't hope so. I think she still has a legendary run. I still think she's a Hall of Famer in the WWE, especially after that 1 year. I just think, sometimes you need time off. And I think this would be good for her. Give her time off. Let dust settle. Let her come back refreshed. If she does want to come back, in and of itself. So this is a good time to disappear, especially if her goal was to get Shayna over, and we're letting Shayna run a little bit more freely, which seems to be the case after watching Raw. Then yeah, let this happen for a while. Shayna even stole one of Ronda's moves, which is kind of funny. As well.
She got a bell rung too.
What, Shayna or Ronda?
I thought she was Shayna. I thought she was legit the knee.
Oh no, she got a shiner on her face.
Yeah, I thought she was like legit concussed.
No, but she got hit. She definitely got hit. So there's that. So hopefully, like I said, Ronda can do whatever Ronda does. She was a trailblazer. She was an attraction that helped bring eyes to the product, and especially in her first year, she did really well. And she was hot, but sometimes the flame dies out for a little bit, and we'll see if it ever gets ignited again. But I would be remiss if if I would say, like, oh, she's done, because she may never be done. She's a freaking super athlete at this point. And she's an attraction, so there'll always be something for Ronda to do, even if it's outside of the wrestling ring. But moving on to last but not least, we're not going to talk about the Battle Royal, because it's the Battle freaking Royal. What are you going to talk about it? It's not the Royal Rumble. Logan Paul did what he said he was gonna do. He beat Ricochet and had Ricochet's fiance say his name, who was wearing the same colors as Logan Paul.
He also hit the worst leg drop of all time. Look at this fucking picture.
It was a split leg drop. It's the same thing Naomi used to do.
I think he was trying to do the Hogan leg drop though.
No, he did that on purpose. It's him doing a split on purpose, because he calls it like the Hogan something. But it wasn't the Hogan leg drop. He caught his leg on purpose and split down into a leg drop.
Did he call it the Hogan Paul?
No, it's not the Hogan Paul. It's called the Hogan something, or something. Michael Cole said it on commentary. What?
Yeah, Cole said, I forget.
Yeah, but no, it's called a Hogan something. But listen, I had my concerns about having this match go on first, but they pulled it off.
A little clunky.
Little bit.
At times.
Little bit.
Logan Paul is still a little green.
Which is fine, but it worked.
Yeah, I mean, he's got it down. He's got the basics down, even intermediate down, but little green sometimes. Like, there was a few times he was supposed to fall forward, but he fell back.
Yes.
Or he's supposed to fall backwards and he fell forward.
Yeah.
I forget what Ricochet did. It was like
It was kind of like the code breaker thing that Ricochet does.
Yeah,
and he fell the wrong way.
He fell the wrong way.
Although
like little things like that.
I also kind of looked at it again, and I felt like Ricochet pulled him in that direction as well, and it seemed kind of off.
It's not Ricochet's fault.
Yeah.
Ricochet did everything. Like, Ricochet for once didn't botch.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, the match was great. I have no issue with the match. It was fun opener. He's like, say it again. Never mind.
I'm just surprised he stayed that long, like pandering to everything when he had to get on a freaking flight.
He's got a private plane.
He did, and he made it just in time too.
Of course he did.
He made it just in time to walk his brother out to the ring, who beat Nate Diaz, obviously.
Yeah, beat him the fuck up. I can't wait. He walked him out.
He walked him out.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah, he didn't even change.
That's wild.
He didn't even change out of his gear.
He was still in his ring
Yeah.
gear.
Listen, man, with Logan Paul, I mean, which he will never do because he has so much other business that he has to attend to. But if he can get some sort of level of consistency in training and stuff, he's going to be fine.
Well, dude, he's fighting in October.
He's doing a boxing match in October. Yes.
He is boxing in October.
Yeah.
So he's going right to fight camp.
Yeah, which is absurd. But hey, he's like what, mid-20s?
My thing is my age.
Yeah. So more power to
Being
him.
a little younger, 26, 27, 28 max.
Listen, Logan Paul is cursed with having so much talent and so much talent in a bunch of various places that it's. I could.
April 1st, 95. He's 28.
Yeah. Logan Paul's.
He will be born on April Fool's Day. What a piece of shit.
Yeah, you didn't know that because he wrestled on WrestleMania on his birthday.
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah, Logan Paul's one of those people. He's gifted with so much talent and so much, business acumen that it's different. He's kind of a jack of all trades, so he's never really focusing on one thing consistently at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. It's great to be a jack of all trades.
This guy was fucking Vine famous, dude.
Yeah, I would just love to see him as a more consistent character because you and I see it, and a lot of other people see it. If he focused a lot of his energy on professional wrestling, dude's a freaking star.
Here's the thing, though. He makes more money being an attraction.
No, he does. No, you're absolutely correct. It's a win-win for everybody involved.
Like, here's the thing. If he wrestles too much, what happened to Ronda Rousey is going to happen to him.
Fair.
But Rousey, I'm not saying Rousey shouldn't have done the year. I'm saying Rousey did do it the right way.
No, Rousey
but
did it the year because she knows she needed to gain respect of the people in the locker room.
Exactly. Logan Paul is just like, the fuck do I care about your respect?
Yeah, but he still has respect of the people. Like, it's hard for someone to come in who's just an attraction and you get the main event against the top guy in the business.
Yeah.
So it shows that they respect him in some way, shape, or form.
I know, dude. I feel like a lot of people in the back will probably irked that he has a pull to decide when he goes on the card and then just leave.
Well, remember, it
after.
wasn't necessarily pull. Remember, you pointed to me that he was asking. He requested it.
Yeah, he requested it.
But still, it's not up to him to decide.
Still, the balls. The balls on that guy. I think people in the back being called the fucking balls on this kid.
Get mad, but he's your attraction. He's the guy that's bringing in some casual people outside of wrestling to see him stuff. You kind of have to cater to your attraction sometimes.
Yeah.
Hey,
WWE could have said no.
Exactly.
I'm a little surprised they said yes, but at the end of the day, I guess it really didn't matter.
It worked out the best for everybody.
Fuck it, let's make him go first. Whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me.
We'll put Cody and Brock on next, so if it's a dud, nobody will care after a while.
Yeah.
That's probably how the match card went. So, but no, power to Logan Paul, power to Ricochet, because obviously is going to continue in some way, shape, or form. Maybe.
Yeah, that Logan Paul Samantha Irvin sex tape though is gonna be wild.
You wish.
I love her TikToks of her just announcing things.
She had the dullest announcement for Ludwig Kaiser because he's a heel on Monday. She was like, Ludwig Kaiser.
Dude, like she should have been like, and the winner is Logan Paul. Like she should have. If you're gonna make her part of the storyline, make her part of the storyline where she comes out, he goes, from Who Gives a Shit USA, Logan douchebag Paul.
That would have been great. Yeah, no, she should have kind of dulled up Logan Paul's thing. But I can see that being hard for somebody to do.
She's probably told not to as well.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, like you still got a job, dude. Like we made you kind of part of the storyline, but not part of the storyline.
You're still the announcer.
Yeah, she's damn good at it too. She's great. I love her.
My favorite Samantha Irvin call is when she's calling Gunther.
Yeah, it was funny because like I don't know what podcast it was. It was like a Facebook video or something.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's interviewing Gunther. and he's like, "Is Samantha Irvin is an honorary member of Imperium?" Because like he goes on to like praise her for announcing,
Yeah.
and Gunther's just like, "No." But she does an excellent job. You know, he was very political about it. He goes, well, no, but she has a great job at her voice. And she does a great job. She does this. She adds a lot to her show. She has a great character. This, that, and the other. She does a good job with us. But no. Let's not. Let's be real here for a second. And then the host was like, "Aw, come on." Stupid question.
Well, listen, I hope Samantha Irvin gets more involved and stuff. I mean, you can play it up. Might as well. We never see like but again, like we said, the ring announcer's never really dating somebody that we're aware of.
Yeah. Howard Fink is just laying pipe down his lady's locker room.
It's a Luna Vachon.
Yeah. Oh, Luna and like Fink's doing a threesome with Luna Vachon and Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, really had to put in Miss Elizabeth. Oh my God! But listen, that's how hot WWE is.
Coming down the aisle.
Listen, that's how hot WWE is. You can add an announcer to a storyline, and people are like, "Yep, this totally works."
Yeah.
It is pretty crazy.
Pretty
The wrestling renaissance continues, and SummerSlam was just a solidification of that. Absolutely fantastic show. Makes me interested to see what they're going to do for Payback, which is going to clearly be Jay versus Jimmy. Jimmy versus Jay, or Jay versus Jimmy as the main event. As like the final match on the card.
God, Seth has me so pissed when I have the title.
Triple H is going to be like, "You're opening the show." Who knows? Well, I mean, Payback writes itself. Obviously, Jimmy wants Payback for Jay. There's your last match on the card.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Makes absolute sense. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for the show this week. Fantastic SummerSlam. No news from the AEW crowd tonight, although I did see that the Hardys and the Young Bucks were in a tag team match. Tell me where you've heard that before.
And the FTR and the Bucks are all in England. That's a match.
Oh, so we announced 2 matches for All In so far. All right. We are getting somewhere, AEW. We are proud of them. We got 2 matches, so these are going to be like, what, 2 hour-and-a-half-long matches for the 80,000 people in attendance?
That has to.
So far, bless you. Bless you. So the other match is what, MJF and Adam Cole, right?
Yeah.
So we got MJF and Cole, FTR versus the Bucks. Okay, good starts. No CM Punk? Nothing yet? Was the match with Ricky Starks not that great? Did anybody watch that match, or were we all watching SummerSlam? Who knows? Oh, Fred says a fatal 4-way ladies match. Qualifiers happening in the weeks to come. Apparently, we could also get Blackpool Combat Club versus Death Triangle. Okay. Is this all for All In, Freds? You gotta let us know. Punk versus Starks 2 maybe at All In.
Yeah, that'll put butts in seats.
Oh my God.
My words. You might as well have Mick Foley win the title.
Seriously. Seriously. And I like Absolute Ricky Starks. He has a great character, but
he's gonna be great in WWE.
Oh yeah,
sure.
I can't wait. I can't wait. It's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. Because that's a,
hey, see what you're doing over there? We're gonna do it better.
Yeah. Regal wanted to sign him before he left for AEW. Regal wanted to sign Starks.
Yeah.
But he wasn't able to. But be it as it may, it is what it is. Kayfabe, I hope you're doing all right. We have not heard from you at all. I don't have any messages from Kayfabe either. So hopefully Kayfabe's doing all right. We'll have to check up with them a little bit later. Just make sure, they didn't kill anybody during Tribal Combat. But until then, folks, let's get out of here. Let's do some post-show shenanigans. I can tell you about how my friend got hit by a car. K-Combat. Mortal K-Bat or something like that.
Fatality.
Flawless victory. Let's get out of here. Hit me with that sweet, sweet music, sir. and gentlemen, you have been listening to Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 349, The Tribal Hangover. SummerSlam was one for the books, a record-setting SummerSlam, leading into what probably will be a record-setting fall for professional wrestling in general. We got All In coming out. We have All Out coming out. We have Payback coming up. No Mercy is happening as well for NXT. Not the video game, but No Mercy is happening as well. So there's a lot of wrestling coming on with the next 4 weeks. And oh yeah, by the way, WrestleMania tickets go on sale next week. So we may have a major announcement or a major disappointment depending on how ticket sales go. I have been your host, King Ricky Rose. You can find me at Ambassador Biggs across all social media outlets sometime in the new year when probably I will return. Find Kings of the Rings podcast at KOTR_podcast. Like, share, subscribe, leave us 5-star reviews. The links are in the description below. If you are listening to us, make sure you're listening to us on your favorite podcast site by subscribing to Wrestle Addict Radio, the cure for the common wrestling podcast, and follow Wrestle Addict Radio at addict_wrestle on the app formerly known as Twitter, and Wrestle Addict Radio everywhere else. The links to all of our great stuff, including some of our awesome merch, is in the description below. Will Tarashak, what do you have for me, sir?
Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? What's up? What's up? My name is Will Tarashuk. It's T as in Thomas, ARASHUK. What's up with me? I launched a brand new website, Ricky. WillieTProductions.com for all of your podcasting content as a service needs. A lot of fun stuff going over there. So Ricky, I'll send you a link. See what you think. But yeah, all that fun stuff. I think I got a new client, so that's going to be paying for WrestleMania. So I am fucking ready to spend a lot of money. It's going to be a good old time.
Dude, I can't wait for all the cheesesteaks we're going to eat. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm going to eat the diarrhea, too. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We need to get a squatty potty for that WrestleMania, ladies.
Yeah, I'll pack them.
When we come back next week, folks, we're going to be talking about whether or not we got tickets to WrestleMania, what is going on with AEW, if there's anything going on at all, because, they do have that big thing in Wembley Stadium that they still have to book, the fallout from SummerSlam and from SmackDown, and we get to find out whether James Uso actually is Jimmy Uso at all. We're going to find out a lot of answers to a lot of our questions in the weeks to come, but until then, folks, we're going to leave you questioning why you stayed and listened to us for so long. So goodbye, good night, we will see you again very soon, and fuck you, Slack. Yeah. This has been a Wrestle Addict Radio branded podcast.